All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here again. Week number 12 of Pete's Power Rankings. Yes, Thanksgiving is here. It's a time for giving and sharing and loving and football. It's the heart of the NFL season. I'm watching 99% of all these games. I'm taking notes. I'm keeping tabs. I'm watching the replays, and I'm ranking every team 32 through 1, breaking them down into tiers. But let's get into it quick. These are my bottom tier teams. This season is over for them. Pack it up for next year. Some teams have some high hopes. Young team, not very talented, got some draft picks. And other teams, high expectations and are complete dumpster fires, and they got a very grim future, it looks like. But let's get into it real quick. 32 through 24. Okay, like I said, these are your bottom tier teams here. The biggest disappointment on this part of the list has got to be the Denver Broncos. This could be a Herschel Walker 2.0 trade for Denver. They have no life on offense. Nathaniel Hackett should have been fired a week ago. It's an absolute disaster. The defense has given up. They just said, screw it, we're not covering Adams in overtime. We're sick and tired of this dog shit offense. They got no first round pick, and they don't have a lot of hope. Another bad team down here, the LA Rams at 24. Just pathetic. All the trading of those first round picks, all the draft picks given up, all these signings of contracts has come home to roost. Someone's got to pay the bill, and it's here. They don't have any depth on this team. Matt Stafford, back to being Matt Stafford from Detroit, just kind of a mediocre guy, throw for a ton of yards, blowing people out. The defense is quit. The offense is horrible. They should have all retired in the offseason like they talked about it. They weren't about that life. They're catching the smoke now, and they're just terrible. Okay, let's get into the middle tier teams. Here's 23 through 16. Some potential here, a lot of jostling for a position. Some of these teams are going to find themselves into a wild card spot. Hey, we might even find a division winner in this tier, but let's get into it. These middle tier teams, 23 through 16. Okay, the Colts bump up in here. I like it. I'll admit when I'm wrong here. Jeff Saturday seems to know what he's doing. Colts are playing a lot better. They just really couldn't finish against the Eagles. Gave them a tough fight. The Packers, their season is over. What a horrendous performance from them on Thursday night at home. I mean, Rodgers looks like he's ready to retire. He's going to screw the cap for them. Hey, but at least you got Christian Watson, the young rookie wide receiver. He looks like he can kind of play. But Matt LaFleur, I'd be really thinking about if he's a good head coach or not, because this team looks just awful. Chicago, Justin Fields is good, but hey, the rest of the team's terrible. Atlanta, feisty team, got to win over Chicago. LA Chargers, another letdown over here. Just come on, LA. Brandon Staley's a dog shit head coach. He needs to be fired. Get an offensive guy for Justin Herbert. This is going to be the top job in the offseason, I think, available for anybody. This is going to be an easy fix. Also, don't sleep on the Lions. Winners of 3 straight. They're hosting the Bills on Thanksgiving. This could be an interesting team. If you got to win over Buffalo on Thanksgiving, watch out. The Lions could sneak up on maybe a faltering Vikings team. Who knows? But man, you'll run through a damn brick wall for Dan Campbell. Lastly, the New York Jets here, 4 spots down to 16. Awful performance from the offense. Zach Wilson, 9 completions. The team had 10 punts. Obviously losing on the punt return for a touchdown. Pretty suspect block in the back. No call there. But hey, they were probably going to lose. They were in field goal range. Defense is really good. Offense is horrible. But let's get into it. What you guys came here for. The top 15. Before we get into it, drop a quick like on this video. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really helps the channel out a lot. Let's get into it. Number 15. First time appearance this year, I think. Okay, number 15, don't look now, but the Washington Commanders, winners of 5 of their last 6, really could have been 6 in a row. They let that game against Minnesota slip away at home, dismantled the Texans this weekend like they should. Chase Young coming back from the IR, a huge boost, should be this next week to that defensive line. Defense is playing lights out, and Taylor Heineke has won the locker room. I feel bad for Carson Wentz. Every time this man gets hurt, he loses his job to a plucky upstart backup. Heineke's got control of the team. Ron Rivera's made it official. He's keeping his job, it looks like. They're in 4th place in the NFC East, but they are sitting right there. They're above 500. This is a stacked division. They get the Giants twice. They can go past them. They're going to get the Cowboys at home in Washington, and they've already beaten the Eagles 1 out of the 2 times they played. So, hey, this is a really fun team. Taylor Heineke, he's got a lot of swag to him. He's not very talented, but he just makes plays, kind of like a Brett Favre kind of guy. But Washington 15 here, man. Watch out for them. Okay, number 14, I'm dropping down the Giants. Man, they got absolutely bullied coming off of the bye against the Detroit Lions. I mean, physical up front, pushed around. Actually, not off the bye. Played Houston 2 weeks ago, the bye. My mistake. They got pushed around by the Lions, man. It was just awful. When you can't rely on Saquon Barkley run the ball every single play, Daniel Jones just ain't it, man. These receivers are terrible. I know there's word about Odell Beckham Jr., but it seems like he's leaning to Dallas, and why wouldn't you? They're a much better football team. I think the mirage is starting to fade on the Giants. They're super one-dimensional. They can only really run the football. Defense is okay. They weren't very good against the Lions. I'd be very concerned. It was a nice story. Brian Daboll's coaching his ass off, but I think they just need to find a new quarterback, get some receivers. The problem is they're in cap hell. So for right now, they're at 14, and I think they're trending the wrong direction. Okay, number 13, the New England Patriots. I got them up 2 spots. Bill Belichick just finds a way to win football games. They didn't score a single offensive touchdown. They kicked 2 field goals the entirety of the game. They were totally shut down by the Jets defense. But the miraculous punt return with no time left essentially won this thing for them. They play great defense. Matthew Judon leads the NFL in sacks, so he's having a great season. They're really getting after the quarterback. They play really tight coverage on the back end. They force turnovers. This is a very good defensive team. Mac Jones in the offense is the issue. Offense is pretty horrible. I think that's going to be the limiting factor for them. They're sitting in 3rd place right now, but I really just don't trust the Patriots to do anything really. They're a good team. They're well coached. They got the Vikings in Minnesota on Thanksgiving. They could win that game. We know nighttime primetime night game, Kirk Cousins. So maybe New England gets another win here. They're clawing it back, but I just think the offense is very, very limited. Okay, Seattle was on a bye this week, but they lost hold of the first place. This is more of what the teams in front of them did, i.e. the Giants and the Jets, how bad they did. We know what we're going to get out of Seattle. This is a solid team. They play okay defense. They're playing better defense. They have some nice young corners on the back end. They can run the football with Kenneth Walker. Geno is not going to make any crazy plays. Probably not going to turn the ball over. He's going to be very accurate, very efficient. This is kind of a lackluster team, but hey, they're so much better than we all thought they would be coming into the season. They very much have a chance to get that last wild card spot in the NFC. Hell, they might even go past the Giants. Who knows? So maybe it's the Commanders and the Seahawks coming out as the other NFC wildcard teams. Really interesting to see. Solid team. Keep them here at number 12. I think they got to keep up with the Niners. I don't think they're going to, but they should have a real shot at making the playoffs. Okay, Tommy in Tampa, another team on a bye. Bump them up 2 spots because of what everyone did in front of them. Still a really strong team. The defense has played so much better the last 2 weeks. They're getting back to stop on the run. They're getting the bye. Tommy's now 2-0 since being divorced. The offense seems to be better, and they're getting some reinforcements. Gio Bernard coming back on the IR. I know he's a million years old, but Tommy loves those fast little running backs that he can dump the ball to. I think this is an interesting team. The NFC South is pretty bad. Atlanta's hanging around there. I think they're going to win this division, get a home playoff game, and then you're heading to Philadelphia, maybe Minnesota or San Francisco, and I would like Tampa Bay in probably either of those games with Tom Brady. So 11 for now, but we could see Tampa Bay being one of the Final 4 teams. Okay, at number 10, I'm going to keep the Titans here at number 10. I liked what I saw from Tennessee. They really were physical. Ryan Tannehill played lights out for 3 quarters. He had a horrible interception that almost got Green Bay back into the game, but the defense stayed tough. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers weren't shit. This is a physical football team. Mike Vrabel is a super good head coach. He gets them to run the football. They tackle well. They play great defense. They're just limited at quarterback and wide receiver. I mean, I think we know what the ceiling is on this team, but you never know in the playoffs. Bad weather, Henry's running the ball, which they can do. They could upset some people. We've seen it before. I think they're going to, get this home playoff game winning the division. They could maybe win that game, but they're going to get a good team coming out of the AFC wildcard spot, I think. So I'm going to bump the brakes a little bit on Tennessee, but I liked what I saw from them. Okay, this one was really hard for me. Cincinnati, I'm going to keep them here at number 9. I was really tempted to jump them up 2 spots all the way to 7 past Miami. Well, giveaway for my next team and another team at 7. But I just didn't love what I saw from the defense. They kind of struggle with Pittsburgh. Everyone has a division struggler. gave up some points there to that Pittsburgh offense, which really isn't that good. There's a little concerning there. The offense had to take over for the Bengals and put in work. Joe Burrow is still locked and loaded. The offensive line's doing better. Joe Mixon had a concussion. He left the game, but Samaje Perine had 3 tutties. So really strong game from the Bengals offense. I really like the way this team is trending. Keeping them here at number 9 is not a slight in the least. I think they're one of the few teams that has a legitimate shot in going into Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs, who seem to be the big bad monster these days. So I like this Bengals team. I love them when they get Jamar Chase back. Let's see if they can keep this up when Chase comes back and not revert to the offense when they had Chase that kind of struggled and was kind of forcing the ball a little bit too much. So for right now, keeping the Bengals at 9. Okay, number 8, the Dolphins were on a bye this week. What can I say? Miami's sitting here. They're tied for, I think they're now in second place. Or no, they might be tied for first place with the Bills. And they got the head-to-head win over Buffalo. So they could still be in first place. I need to check that before I do this. But anyway, I like this team. I think they're a little limited when it comes to a postseason run. It's a young team. It's a young head coach. It's kind of a not super strong arm quarterback. Tyreek Hill is a monster. He can run all over the place. Pair him with Jalen Waddle. Really nice combo. Seems like they've added a nice addition to the running game. They picked up a couple of running backs to put in that backfield, really bolstering that group. It's nice. You know, ex-San Francisco 49ers know how to run the football, and you got a 49er head coach, former assistant head coach from the Niners running that offense, so they fit in perfectly. Tua's undefeated this season in games he starts and finishes. That's something to be said. Problem is the defense is going to be the limiting factor. They play a ton of man. They try and get to the quarterback with blitzes. They really don't get to it. They play decent defense, but against elite teams, it's going to hurt them, I think. So I'm going to keep the Dolphins here at number 8. I think this is a team that could compete for the division, but as the months get colder and the days get shorter, could get a lot harder for Miami. Okay, back down to earth. Number 7, the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, my Vikings got absolutely trounced. It was very predictable. They were probably going to lose that game to the Cowboys after the comeback, emotional, heroic win against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, and the way Dallas shit the bed at the end of the game against the Packers. You knew Dallas would be focused. You knew they'd be laser locked in. And the Vikings, honestly, haven't been super impressive all season, blowing teams out. Obviously, one of the worst point differentials, the worst point differential now of any 8-2 team. So I think they needed a little bit of a wake-up call. The offensive line is a concern now. Your all-pro playing level left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, got a concussion again. He's going to be out for this short week against New England. They got away from the run way too quickly. I hate how the defense is schemed on top of it with defensive coordinator Ed Donatel. They do not any preparation for the teams they're about to play. Feels like they just say, we're going to run our defense and we'll make the stop. You play 7-8 yards off of people. You can't do that in today's NFL. Some of the concerns I raised earlier in the season coming back to haunt the Vikings. But hey, if you get them in a close game, they're probably going to win that game. So if they can avoid getting blown out more, this is a team. They have such a nice lead in the division. It'd be really hard for them to lose out here. Let's see what they do on Thanksgiving at home, short week, prime time, under the lights. If you lay another egg against New England, the red alert flags are going to start going off in Minnesota. Okay, number 6, I'm dropping the Ravens down a spot. Not a very impressive win against Carolina, especially coming off the bye. I loved what I saw from the defense. They made them struggle. I mean, Carolina struggled to score points. They got 3 points. Baker Mayfield was running for his life. It was a really, really tough day at the office for him. But man, Lamar and the offense were just completely anemic. They did nothing. They looked lost at times. I know Gus Edwards was out. Mark Andrews is a little banged up coming off the injury. But man, they really struggled to move the football. They ended up putting the game away 13-3, but it was a real dogfight. I think it was 3-3 for most of this game. It was just a struggle for them, so I'm going to drop them down a spot. Still like this team. The defense is getting back to what we thought the Ravens defense should be, and that's good. I'm just concerned that the offense isn't going to be able to score points against good teams in bad weather, this, that, and the other. I think there's a ceiling for Baltimore, but hey, Lamar, prove me wrong. I've been saying it all year. Go prove me wrong. Okay, number 5 here, I'm going to bump the Cowboys back up. They're going to go get those points back for losing to Green Bay that they got for beating Minnesota. If you just flip those 2 losses, if they beat the shit out of Green Bay and then lost to Minnesota like that in overtime, the Cowboys would be right here at 5. I think this is a good spot for them. You gotta like the addition, using more Tony Pollard. Nice 1-2 punch. It was very predictable they were going to win this game. I was glad they were focused. The schedule is super soft for Dallas coming up. 32nd ranked schedule, so they're going to rack up some wins here. They're going to have to make the Eagles keep pace. The only problem is I don't think they're going to be able to keep pace with the Eagles, and that's going to force them to go on the road. Now, defense and run game and running the ball travels well. Minnesota got way out of their run game way too early. Dalvin Cook was averaging 5+ yards a carry to start that game. So the run defense is still a concern for the Cowboys. But if you can get a lead, force team to pass, let the pass rush tee off. We know how good they are at rushing the passer. They lead the league in sacks as a team. Absolutely phenomenal group rushing the passer. But if you can establish the run, keep Dak and the offense off the field, could be in trouble, Dallas. But for right now, I like them at 5. And the only reason I have them at 5 is the next NFC team has no problem running the football and keeping you off the field. Okay, another giveaway, I guess. The San Francisco 49ers here at 4. I got them up 2 spots. Absolutely drubbed division rival Arizona on Monday night in Mexico City. It was a close game for a minute there. It was 14-10. They kicked a field goal at the end of the half. It was only 7.5. They finished that thing off in the second half. 38-10. I loved how they went for the kill. 2 late touchdowns, put that game away, get the starters pulled out. This is a team that's getting hot at the right time. Jimmy G, most games, active streak with 2+ touchdown passes. Really impressive. Christian McCaffrey fits in this offense like a glove. We got more incorporations of George Kittle. He reminded everybody how dominant he is. I think the Niners are going to win the West. They're going to host a home playoff game. And man, we know how experienced they are. All they do is win games. All they do is win playoff games. This is a team that's really teetering on the edge of possibly getting to another Super Bowl. And they could really, really use another crack at the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they want redemption for that last Super Bowl loss. Defense is playing great. They're getting healthy. D'Amico Ryans is going to get a head coaching job. The Niners are absolutely terrifying, I think, sitting here at number 4. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. Let's scoot the Bills back up one more spot. Get them back into that 3 spot where they've been most of this year in the top 3. Much better performance against Cleveland. I can't believe they got out of Buffalo, man. It was looking real sketch there with the snowstorm getting snowed in. They got to Detroit somehow. It was all good. They struggled a little bit. I'm going to blame the hectic week getting to Detroit. They finished them off in the second half. Amazing. They kicked some damn field goals instead of turning the ball over in the red zone. Just added points, put teams away. They dominated. Buffalo really, really strong in the second half. Cleveland added a late touchdown to make it closer than it actually was. But I liked what I saw from Buffalo. They got Detroit on Thanksgiving, short week. Like I said, they're staying in Detroit. Should be an interesting game. Detroit's super hot. They're at home. Buffalo needs to win this game convincingly for them to stay up here. Otherwise, I'd be really concerned, Bills fans, that they're just kind of up and down roller coaster Bills once again. Okay, number 2, I'm keeping them here. Nice comeback win for your Philadelphia Eagles. They trailed again for the second straight week and only the second time all year in the second half. They were down in the fourth quarter, and Jalen Hurts led a very nice, very pretty touchdown run, capped off by his quarterback draw, scamper into the end zone. Really nice win for the Eagles. That's what good teams do, man. When the chips are down, I don't blame them. They hadn't been used to that situation. Chips are down. Stuff's going against you. You're not playing well. Turn the ball over late. You go find a way to win the football game. They didn't have the experience playing Washington. We saw them lose. They had the experience now, and it came right back to help them. Big game coming up Sunday night. They got the Packers, who are, if they're not already dead, it's by far their last chance. The Packers cannot lose another game. I think they're already dead, but they may not know it yet. So big win. They got to get past the Packers here. They do that. Another very soft schedule for an NFC East team. They should roll up to this number 1 seed with Minnesota's loss and a tougher schedule coming up. So it's all in front for the Eagles to be hosting this NFC Championship game. Nice bounce back win for them. Let's see if they can keep it up. And finally, the big baddies themselves, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I said 2 weeks ago, bet it on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to be floored. I know the Chiefs fans hate it that I say it. This is such a good football team from top to bottom. The worst part of this team is maybe the defensive secondary. They get burned some. But Jesus, if you give Patrick Mahomes anything over a minute, there is a legitimate chance you're probably going to lose that game. He is so good inside the last 2 minutes in the half at the end of the game. He is electric. Travis Kelce has now become uncoverable. He's probably the greatest tight end to ever play the game. I mean, at least from an offensive standpoint, he's unreal. Most 100-yard games for a tight end in NFL history. It's just a connection that's unstoppable right now. And pair that with Andy Reid, who's got all his little plays, all his little tricks, who's seen it all. He's going to keep things calm, cool, and collected. This is such a good football team. I know people hate to say it. They're so damn good. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback on the planet right now. Long way away from him not being the best quarterback on the planet. So for now, I think it's the Chiefs. This is going to be a dynastic run, hopefully, Chiefs fans. They're going to be at 1. I do not see the Chiefs getting knocked off from this #1 spot. They've won 25 straight games in November and December with Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. Absolutely unreal. Let's see if they keep it going. But that's going to do it for us this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? What has been your biggest surprise from the season so far? Could be good, could be bad. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. New videos every single weekday, keeping you updated in the world of sports, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.